The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been met. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Here.
We have before us for approval our minutes of our three meetings of February 16th. That's the workshop, capital, and regular meetings. What is your pleasure?
So moved. Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will now open for public comment. You have 3 minutes for any subject you'd like to speak about.
That clock is erroneous. Would you reset it to the proper time?
We're giving you 3
We like you so much, we're giving you 3 extra seconds.
I don't want to get used to extra seconds. Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, it's high time to stop procrastinating, vacillating, and plain old putzing around. As Zeta would say, it's took us off Tish sight. Mayor, you've screwed the taxpayers long enough, made even worse by putting your hand on the good book and solemnly swearing to uphold the New Jersey State Constitution to provide a thorough and efficient education. There is absolutely no legitimate reason not to immediately consolidate the 2 schools into one come this June. Right-sizing would result in enormous tax savings for the beleaguered senior citizens who have seen little or no COLA in the past decade. Meanwhile, your fiscally irresponsible, inept, incompetent management of city finances has resulted in an obscene bloating of the city budget in excess of 30%, according to Herbie Lipson. At the same time, towns like Brigantine, under fiscally prudent Republican leadership, have been able to reduce property taxes 2 years in a row. Mayor, get with the program. Do what needs to be done. Having skin in the game never means millions of additional tax dollars to underwrite a school system in dire need. It's 1 minute, 31 seconds, Mayor. In dire need of a fiscal haircut. Taxpayers are fed up with a school system that fails all 7 indicators of efficiency. Mayor, it's time to man up and bite the bullet and get a grip on reality and recognize it's never going to be a convenient time, and your fiscally irresponsible school board will want to study the long overdue closure to death ad nauseum. Don't buy into the BS of more demographic studies, real estate market trend analyses, traffic pattern studies, etc., etc. It's totally bogus and only designed to delay the inevitable. It's the 800-pound gorilla that must be addressed ASAP. The time is right here and right now. Mayor, you've been playing games for far too long, to the grave detriment of your fellow senior citizens. Pander, if you must, to your perverse nepotism proclivities by granting your daughter-in-law safe pay status and let her be the assistant principal, even though we'd only need a single principal administrator. Let's stop playing games. It's time to do what needs to be done. 9 seconds, Mayor, and I'll let you have all of them.
Thank you.
Anytime.
It's up. We'll touch it when he starts. It's his button. Start. You already started.
Go ahead.
Art Cortelli, 114 North Lancaster Avenue. John mentioned that there's 7 items that were unfavorable that came out of the county, and it wasn't just to let us share information, As Dr. DiNicola said, I don't think it had anything to do with sharing. I think it was some sort of alert to say, hey, you're overspent on this. And he didn't go into detail of what they were, but the first one, the most looking to fix it, you would look at the worst one. Well, the worst one's $1,500 per student, and that's for building maintenance. That building maintenance, if you multiply it just roughly by 400 kids, that's $600,000. And to add insult to injury, it's $600,000 above the state median, which means we're already past half the people when we spend evenly. But $600,000 above that puts us up with the big spenders. And we only have a school that goes to 8th grade. The second one we have is the cost per pupil. It's out of sight, $28,000 to get one kid from 3rd grade to 4th grade. One kid, $28,000. It just don't seem like it makes any sense. You got to live up to what's happening here. What's happening here is you have 30 kids now. It's dwindled from 45, used to be in the kindergarten. And that 30 is going to go down again when you graduate a class of 42. So you're going to now have 12 less than you have now. And it's going to continue year after year after year. Something has to be done. It's easy to do. Close one school. We will save the three of the 7 bad indicators that we're on the hook for. And also, we can just maintain what we have in the 3rd floor of the Ross School. As John indicated, that could be refurbished. I know you heard him many times. There could also be something put on that huge lot across from Ty. It's 200 by 300 feet. It's enormous. I hear it every morning on the Don Williams show that there's General Steel building. They'll put a building 50 by 100 on your lot for $45,000. And you could put 8 rooms in there, and those classrooms can hold your kindergarten and 1st grade as well. It just has to be done. We have to eliminate this waiting and fooling around. And the main thing is they should have a plan for this. You're going to be faced with this coming up soon on the 23rd. They're going to give you a big budget to maintain both buildings. Make sure you have a plan for closing one of them.
Thank you, Art.
I'm back. Dan Gottlieb, 407 North Nassau, Margate. I heard there was some discussion about the timing of the commencement of the Dune project in the previous meeting. I'm sorry I missed that, and I hope I'm not being repetitive, but I'm sure I am. I guess the question that I have a couple questions, but the one question I have, and maybe this is for you, Scott, has the state started condemnation proceedings?
Shall I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's well along the way, Dan. In fact,
Okay.
as they've filed the condemnation, they have the legal rights for the easements, and what is left at this point is the valuation for the easements. So, for instance, there is 3 commissioners assigned to try to set fair value. The city's been offered $29,000. I know there's at least a half a dozen property owners who are also contesting a nominal amount that's been offered by the state. But I would point out that in other towns, I know most other towns, there's been no consideration for the easement.
Right.
So we're not going to get a lot of money for the state to build the sand dune there. You look at that Harvey Cedar Supreme Court decision, you
Right.
look at some of the other court decisions, we're just not going to get any large amounts of money.
Yeah. I guess what I was looking at was in the judge's ruling where Judge Bum said that if the state hadn't begun condemnation proceedings and that we couldn't come to some type of agreement, that Margate could come back to her and she would revisit.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly what was said, but I do know that the condemnation proceedings are well along the path.
Okay.
And they absolutely have their rights. See, the way it works is once you file for the taking, you've got the rights. Now what you have to do is come up with compensation. Because the court case, Judge Mendez, as you know, he's ruled in favor of the shore protection program.
Right.
So
And-
we're going to have a string of sand dunes in front of our string of seawall.
I do know that, she said, Judge Bum in federal court said that she said, the article says, while U.S. District Judge Renee Marie Bum's decision let the federal government award a contract for the beach replenishment work on Absecon Island, it also cautions the state that she will step in again if state officials don't follow the proper procedures to obtain the easements.
That's true.
That's true.
And that's what they did.
They did
That's
do
what
that.
they did
Dan.
the second time.
Okay.
She
so-
directed them to Superior Court in the state of New Jersey, which
Okay.
is where they went.
Okay.
Now, can we appeal the remuneration that they're going to give?
We can always contest it. The way it works is the three commissioners will come up with a recommendation, and then if we wanted, we can appeal that. We can fight for more money. But the problem is, that's not to compensate us for the inconvenience or whatever. That is the market value of that easement. That's the standard that the commissioners are dealing with. What we may have down the line, which is a little bit different, actually it's very different, is we may have a cause of action against the state and/or Army Corps if the dune causes harm to our city.
That-
And that's where the judges have said in the past, if there is harm caused, they can come back. And if you'll recall, and I know you do, with some of the testimony from state officials was, well, if there's harm, we will remedy it, we will rectify it, we will come back, we will do what we have to do. Because as you know, they're going to scoop out the area between the sand dune and our seawalls. And the idea is that the water is going to percolate down, and that's how we're going to get rid of our stormwater when it rains heavy or we have a storm. Our engineers, and I think pretty much everybody in this room is skeptical of that. And they'll know that's really going to work. But that's the state and the Army Corps engineers. That is their plan to deal with stormwater runoff. So on Nassau Avenue, I know where you live, I'm always on Osborne. Our water, we no longer will have the ability to trench from the scupper in the seawall so that the water can flow into the ocean directly. It is going to be bottled up by the seawall, and supposedly they believe it will percolate down the sand in a reasonable amount of time.
24 hours, they
24
said.
hours. they said.
Reasonable amount of time.
That was my next question about irreparable harm. And is there another category of irreparable harm, i.e., the dependence on our realtors, our restaurateurs, our shop owners, our tourists? Are we creating any type of harm to those people by having this project take place in the heart of our season?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would suppose you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I can't tell you it's going to help them. How much is it going to hurt them? How long is it going to last? One could say that's speculative. I guess there is the ability to try to convince a judge, whether it be federal or state, file a lawsuit, seek an injunction to stop them from doing their dune project or sand dune project in the summer. That's one door that could be tried. What are the odds of success? Dan, I think you run in the company with a lot smarter lawyers and big shot law firms. What do they say? What's Dilworth Paxson say? Represented the half dozen or whatever it was beachfront owner. Do they think there's any shot at an injunction to stop them so they can't do it in the summer season? That's the
Yeah,
question.
well, this is pretty fresh news, and,
Yeah.
those people, they have not weighed in, to me at least, on that topic yet.
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
My speculation is it would be a difficult burden for us to stop this project at this point. And I know it would cost a lot more money. That's up to the elected officials. They're certainly going
Mayor.
to think about it. I'm
Scott's done. May I comment?
Whatever you want to do.
You okay?
I'm done. Do you want to ask me anything?
No.
Dan.
Commissioner
Yes,
Axel.
John.
Just for your information, what we were told at this pre-con meeting on last week is they're going to take segments of 1,000 foot. They're going to be totally fenced in. That's construction limits. It's off limit to any resident, anybody. They move 200 foot a day according to their survey marks, where the volume they know in that particular area, 200 foot a day. So roughly, you can figure it out, they're going to be 2 weeks in a 4-block area. In the contract, there's liquidated damages to the subcontractor, Walters Marine, that is following weeks, that they have to have the dune shaped, the post and rail fence in place. They're not going to do the plantings till next March, so you're going to have a bare dune till next March, because it's not the planting season for whatever species they put on a dune. So as they progress, they move, and they give access, even though there's going to be this 36-inch steel pipe down the center of our beach that's the feed as they do their areas. Totally intrusive. I mean, I've watched all the beach fills in Atlantic City, Ventnor, all over, and Ocean City, because I worked on the project in Ocean City. So it's intrusive, it's horrible. The only thing we benefit by, they're bringing 3 barges to start the project. They're going to use an auger, what they call an auger in Atlantic City. That churns, sucks, and pumps. Where we're at, Margate, Ventnor, and Longport, they have 2 hopper barges. Hopper barges is excavated. It's a cleaner method of moving sand. They're 2 miles off the beach. They're going to excavate it, fill their hopper. What they call, they leapfrog. One's out there while one's pumping. They come up to the pump station that's on a barge. They load the pump, and that brings it into shore. So the only areas that I presume, and this is just a guess, we're going to have a mess for that 1,000 feet. But hopefully the rest of our beaches won't have that silt floating and the dirty sand, because as they pump it on, they use water, and that washes some of the sand back out. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
There's no other way to put it.
I guess I just wonder, is there a way to petition the states, without going through all the legal fees and costs and everything? Is there a way to have a discussion with the state about potential irreparable harm, that other category that Scott and I were discussing, to see if there was any willingness to push this back until after Labor Day? I just know that when our realtors and our restaurateurs and our shop owners and some of our residents, who, the summers mean everything to them, it's just going to be very upsetting, and I think there's going to be a big outcry. And I just hope that there's some way to figure out a way to maybe push this back. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Any other public comment? Is this thing gonna work?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner. I have 2 things I want to talk about, not the dunes. Number one, regarding the schools, I agree to some extent with John and Art, but I also disagree. For one thing, I think that we should take our time to make the right decision as far as what to do with closing a school. I think a school should be closed, but I think that, to decide in haste, regret in leisure, let's take the time to make the right decision and have several options possibly presented to the taxpayers, and then decide, what is the best thing for the city going forward for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, I don't think it's necessary to just close a school for the sake of closing a school. Let's make the right decision. I think, like the fire department, I don't know that we made the right decision there, but let's try to make the right decision with the school. That's what I have to say. That's number one. And number two, I just wanted to mention, this has nothing to do with anything, but tomorrow is March 3rd. I believe this is the 100th anniversary of the U.S. entrance into World War I. Okay, March 3rd, 1917, which is, World War I was the greatest catastrophe to hit mankind in the 20th century. It was basically the start of a European Civil War from 1914 to 1945. I just think that nobody knows anything about this, and it blows my mind how important World War I was to the entire rest of the 20th century. And we're still living under a lot of the things that came out of World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, and any other number of things. And nobody knows about this. And I just wish that people would learn, maybe take this time to read a little bit more than just what you learned in let's say, Atlantic City High European history, which was nothing, and realize just how what a tragedy World War I was, and what a tragedy the United States' interest in World War I was, which tipped the balance. Anyhow, and I don't know that it's even going to be commemorated, and it's such an important event, and nobody even knows about it. It's shocking, really. All right, that's all.
Thank you, Steve. Any further public comment?
I would prefer to make these when all three commissioners were here, but it seems that Commissioner Amadeo is out in the hallway with Mr. Gottlieb. So,
Could you introduce yourself?
oh, I'm
for the
sorry.
record?
Sure, for the record, I'm Sharon Simon, 424 North Thurlow Avenue.
Can we hold up? We'll get Commissioner Amadeo if you'd like.
Sure.
And we'll say goodbye to the kids from Stockton.
See you guys.
Oh, that's
Thanks, sir.
okay.
Dave, would you ask John?
Farewell.
Thank you, Dave.
He buggered out early. They have a class. They have to make a class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what a liar I was.
Voting time?
Not quite.
Sharon preferred that you be.
Constituent wants to address you.
Sharon, go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I was willing to speak without you, but the mayor was kind enough to send a police escort for you.
Quite all right.
So, one thing about the property values, I know that a lot of the research we did from our group and some attorneys we've spoken to, the one thing that is unique and different about Margate is that we have a bulkhead system, and we do get protection from the bulkhead. So my understanding, again, I'm not a lawyer, is that they look at that in terms of how much added protection you get from the dune versus the views taken away or whatever other issues they are. And we have a lot of protection from our bulkheads. So I don't think we fit in like necessarily where Harvey Cedars is and maybe some other communities. So I think that's an important aspect, and we should really try to maximize on that. Whether it's going to impact timing or not, regardless, I think that's really important. The other thing is I really think it's important to get ahead of this, be proactive rather than reactive. And, you know, when people hear things and then there's the rumors and this one said this, and I would really hope that the commission very soon, because this information evidently is online on the current as to when they're coming and what they're doing. I guess it will be in next current, I don't know. But in any event, is to have a meeting with the community. Let them know what you know what was discussed here. Talk about our concerns. Invite the realtors, invite the business people in. Let's work together so that we don't, I mean, there's always going to be people pointing fingers, but that's not productive. It doesn't matter who said what. One can say up here, you know, we would have had dunes 16 years ago if we didn't start fighting this. Well, if it wasn't you, we wouldn't have, it doesn't matter. You know, whether it's retaliation, it doesn't matter. Let's all sit down. Let's look at what it is. Let's be realistic. Let's talk about some alternatives, what we were just talking about before. You know, can we have a meeting? Do we have basis? Let's come together and work together and do everything as a community and as a commission and do the best we can and not put up the white flag yet, you know, and not say, well, no one else did it. No one else thought we'd ever get this far. And we did. So I would ask that you do that and do it quickly because people are going to start talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public
I'll
comment?
make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will now go to public comment on resolutions that are on the agenda. Does anyone have any comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Johanna, could you start with the introduction of ordinances, please?
Okay. I'd like a motion for the introduction of ordinance number 1, 2017, calendar year 2017, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
I'd like a motion to introduce ordinance number 2.
I better vote yes on that one. You forgot me.
Oh, Commissioner
Commissioner
Blumberg, I apologize. Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes. Apology accepted.
I think you can mark him down as a yes.
Let's talk about it first.
A motion for ordinance number 2, 2017, Chapter 75, Officers and Employees, Article 35?
5, yep.
Oh, Chapter 35, Article 23.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Mayor Becker?
I'll vote yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
A motion for ordinance number 3, 2017, amending Chapter 257-15, handicap parking on street.
I'll move ordinance number 3 of 2017.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 47, 2017, authorizing payment to Colmar Home Center?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mayor Becker?
I abstain.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 48, 2017, authorizing payment and claims?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 49, 2017, authorizing tax lien redemption for block 427, lot 53.127?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg? May I have a
Yes.
motion for resolution number 50, 2017, authorizing tax lien redemption for block 305.02, lot 26?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 51, 2017, authorizing shared service with Atlantic City for elevator inspection and services?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 52, 2017, authorizing receipt of bids for Amherst Avenue bulkhead repairs?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for the addition to our agenda, which is resolution number 53, 2017, authorizing award of contract to Video Pipe, also known as Mobile Dredging and Video Pipe, for an amount of $144,440.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you, Johanna. Is there a motion to adjourn? this
So
meeting?
moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you.